A very good evening, everyone. Welcome back to this session of NCF 2023 for school education. Yesterday, we were done till the stage design of foundation stage. So, today we will be exploring right from preparatory stage. Just to start the reading with uh, about preparatory stage, it states that the duration of the preparatory stage is 3 years. That includes third, fourth, and fifth classes. It's clearly understood. The preparatory stage will comprise 3 years of education, building on the play, discovery, activity based pedagogical, and curricular styles of foundational stage, but also gradually beginning to incorporate textbooks as well as aspects of more formal classroom learning. Now, to be very specific about it, what type of pedagogy we are going to use? In preparatory stage, we are going to use play-based pedagogy along with activity-based pedagogy and exploring discovery-based pedagogy. Same like foundation stage. And the curriculum is also same like foundation stage. It should be age appropriate and easy for the child to understand, and it should be more emphasis should be laid upon language learning and exploring world around them. From here, like more textbook is also emphasized more. Apart from that, even what do we say, like classroom, like discipline in the classroom, or maybe like the aspect of classroom is emphasized more. There would be mostly be generalist teachers during this stage, with the possible exception of some specialist language and art teachers who may be shared across the school or school complex. The aim of this stage will be to lay the general groundwork across subjects, including reading, writing, speaking, physical education, art, languages, science, and mathematics, so that students are prepared to dwell deeper into learning areas through specialized subjects and subject teachers in that stage. So it's very much clear that teachers who are into preparatory stage, they are subject specific teachers. Like each subject, there should be a specific teacher so that it helps the children to get deeper into the knowledge, subject knowledge. Okay. Apart from that, they should also have separate language teachers. Now, moving further, curricular structure. Let us see the structure. The preparatory stage curriculum of the NCF is divided into the following curricular areas. At least two languages. There should be at least two languages: mathematics, art education, physical education, and well being, and the world around us, which is nothing but the general awareness. And this world around us is integrated, interdisciplinary. You should have both human world and natural world in it. Aspects of work in vocational education are also incorporated into this curricular area. Few small work education topics can also be introduced. The preparation is largely focused on capacities and dispositions at this stage. More focus is upon building the capacities of the children and building the dispositions which we discussed in first chapter. Yeah. Moving further, content. Textbooks start playing a bigger role in the areas of language and mathematics. Here, like textbooks are taking place of pedagogy. A variety of children literature should complement the language textbook to consolidate students literacy capacities other than textbook children's literature, like storybooks. All such sort of things are to be given to the children so that their language building capacity, vocabulary capacity increase. Materials and manipulatives continue to play a role in mathematics, though emphasis shifts to symbolic representation in correspondence with concrete material. Uh, the world around us should rely less on the textbook and more on experiential learning, with physical exploration as the main source of content. The content needs to be within the familiar context of the students. First and foremost thing, the content which is used in the textbooks, it should be familiar for the students. And the second thing is that that content has to be delivered with the help of experiential learning so that the child will learn through experiences. Moving on to pedagogy. Activity and discovery based pedagogy continues in this stage. gradually encouraging students to be active within a formal classroom arrangement. There should be a formal classroom arrangement. It is not that it is an informal classroom arrangement. But within the formal classroom arrangement, teachers should come up with activity-based and experiential or discovery-based learning for the students. The ability to concentrate and pay continuous attention to classroom lectures and discussions needs to be encouraged. Attention among the students has to be encouraged by the teachers. Teachers should come up with different, deliberate activities or deliberate, like techniques to increase the attention span of the students. Some proportion of self-paced individual work should be part of the classroom activity, while some amount of homework can be included. From here onwards, right from preparatory stage onwards, we have to give child-centric learning also. Some work has to be given to the, child as well. Okay, so that they will they will learn, on their own. Apart from that, homework can be encouraged from this particular stage. Moving further, let us explore assessments. Assessments in this stage are in combination of observation of students' activity, correcting their worksheets, and short formal written evaluations. Periodic summative assessments should supplement the more frequent format assessments. Now, see, the assessment is all round over here. Like there can be observation of the students, teacher can observe the student. Apart from that, worksheets also can be encouraged. Small, short written evaluations like a test after every chapter can be conducted. There can be a summative assessment. Okay, rather than formative assessment, summative assessments are to be conducted. Okay. Moving on to classroom arrangement. The classroom setting is a balance between a formal environment and an arrangement that encourages movement and exploration. When we speak about formal classroom arrangement, it is not that there shouldn't be movement and exploration. There should be movement and exploration provided a formal seating arrangement has to be made. Students sitting and working in groups should be encouraged. Group studies. Okay, working in group. This has to be encouraged more in preparatory stage. So this is an important thing. Moving further to teachers. Teachers continue to be generalists and teach across curricular areas. General teachers and they teach across the curricular areas. For art and physical education and well-being, specialists from school complexes can be invited for the development of specific capacities and skills, but the class teacher should continue to be present and mediate these interactions with the students. So be careful over here. The special teachers who are coming to teach art, physical education, such sort of subjects, even when they are there, class teacher should be there. For other subjects also, like languages, for languages, there can be special teachers. For math, science, okay, and English, there can be one teacher, a general teacher. That's what all about teachers over here. Just a second. As we are done with the preparatory stage, let us move on to middle stage. So the duration of middle stage is also 3 years, and that includes 6, 7, and 8, classes. Let us go to curricular structure directly because the same explanation of the box is given. The middle stage expands the curricular areas to include science, study of physical and natural world, social science, the study of the human world. In preparatory stage, it is together, interdisciplinary. But here, it is dividing into two subjects. And students also get exposure to vocational education. If you remember, in 6th, 7th, and 8th, we have vocational subjects, different vocational subjects. Based on the capacities and dispositions in the preparatory stage, students engage more formally with knowledge and values in the middle stage. Okay, here it is all about more about knowledge and values which they have to, inculcate. Apart from that, uh, curricular areas are dealt with as forms of understanding, like Math has got its own form of understanding. Science has got its own form of understanding. Okay, this is how it is. And with explicit engagement with paradigmatic theories and conceptual structures that frame each area has got a different concept. That is something which we have to understand. The more generic capacities such as observation and data collection developed in preparatory stage are now specialized into specific methods of inquiry. See, till preparatory stage, the child is generally observing. Right from sixth grade onwards, different inquiry styles and methods are to be taught to the child that are appropriate for each form of understanding. For example, students gain an understanding of the methods of inquiry in science and also contrast them with the methods of inquiry in history or in the arts. So inquiries are different, okay, for arts as well as for science. But they can contrast and they can come up with better inquiries. The conventions and protocols of each form of understanding are also introduced in middle stage. So it's the responsibility of the teacher to inculcate the habit of inquiry-based learning among the students based upon that subject. See, for science, there is a different method of inquiry. Social, there's a different method of inquiry. This, like idea has to be created by the teacher in the minds of the students. Let us move on to the content. The content in the middle stage needs to reflect the engagement with theoretical concepts. Remember here, theoretical concepts are introduced and the introduction of theories and conceptual frameworks specific to each form of understanding, which means subjects. All theoretical concepts are specific to the subjects, like different subjects like math, science, and social. There is a shift to more abstract ideas, and the students are expected to engage with unfamiliar context and situation. Till preparatory stage, when it is all about practical understanding, okay, here when it comes to theory, it's a bit difficult. It is all theory, like, and for which the child has to take the help of the teacher, understand it properly, and come up with, like his own style of decoding what is given in the theory. The textbooks begin to play a central role in mediating the content in the middle stage. Textbooks play a very significant role here. Both the expansion of curricular areas and the engagement with abstract ideas and unfamiliar context could be challenging for the students. First and foremost thing is there are more curricular subjects. Second thing is abstract ideas, which we are calling it as theory. Okay, both of them together, it's going to be a bit tactful for the students to deal. Well-designed textbooks with clear expectations and specific learning goals would support students in entering these forms of understanding in a structured and systematic manner. So we should be very careful while we are choosing textbooks for this group of students because they should be well-designed, okay, with clear expectations and specific goals, learning goals for the students to learn. Moving on to pedagogy, what type of methods are we supposed to use here? Pedagogy is a judicious balance of direct instruction and opportunities for exploration and inquiry. So here it is not play-based and activity-based. Activity-based can be still considered. Okay, it is direct instruction, directly teaching the concept. Apart from that, exploration and inquiry also to be encouraged. As mentioned before, the expansion of content areas and the abstract nature of theories place a heavier cognitive demand on students. Now, there is lots of cognitive demand. The child should start thinking on his own, understanding, analyzing, okay, applying and evaluating. The focus on concept development indicates that the teacher must pay attention to the prior concepts that students might already have and how to use those concepts to bring about active learning. Now, teachers should test lots of previous knowledge and use that previous knowledge to build upon it, the current, like theories. The emphasis is not on accumulating facts, but on becoming fluent in the methods of inquiry within each form of understanding. Every subject has got its own facts, math, science, and social. So here it is not that we want the child to grasp lots of information, but here it is that the child should come up with understanding of the inquiry of each and every subject. Moving on to assessments. Assessments can become more formal and explicit. Till preparatory stage, it is not completely formal. But from here, it is going to be more formal. The focus of assessment should be on the specific ways of reasoning within each form of understanding and not primarily on the recall of facts. It is not that we are going to ask what the child has learned from the textbook. More than that, reasoning for all the things that are happening in the human world and natural world. Formal tests and examinations play a role with the expectation that students can process larger chunks of information together for analysis and synthesis. Formal tests are to be conducted after every chapter so that the whole textbook, the child can remember the whole information in small, small chunks. Periodic summative assessment should again supplement the more frequent formative assessments. Periodically, summative assessments are to be conducted, okay, so that it will, like replace the formative assessments and it will be useful, okay, for the child to remember the information given. Let us move on to classroom arrangement. The classroom is increasingly a formal space over here. Formal classroom setup is needed, allowing for group work and peer interaction. Again, group work, you can have group seating arrangement. Subject-specific classrooms become effective when equipped with appropriate TLMs and other resources. Like you can have homeroom teaching also. Like for math, you can have a math lab and students can move to math lab. Science, you can have a science lab and students can move to science lab. Okay, so that TLMs are there and those can be used. Okay, apart from that, you can have a formal classroom setup also, but subject specific classroom will be more better here. Teachers. Subject specific teachers handle different curricular areas in this stage. From sixth grade onwards, it should be subject specific teacher. Okay, teachers need a profound understanding of the curricular area in terms of vertical connections of concepts within the subject and horizontal connections with concept in other areas. Students of this age benefit from engaging with a diverse set of adults who have their own personalities and interests. Here we are talking about teachers. So if teachers who are having their own personalities and interests, when the children go and engage with such sort of teachers, they benefit more because they get subject specific understanding. Art education, physical education and well-being and vocational education can have visiting faculty who have specialized knowledge and skills. From sixth grade onwards, we can have visiting faculty who come once or twice in a week, okay, for teaching such sort of specific subjects. The middle stage utilizes the capacities and dispositions developed during the preparatory stage and introduce the students to different forms of understanding. Students gain systematic knowledge through rational thought and inquiry. Rational means reasoning. Okay, the ability to give a reason for any action. The capacities for critical thinking and problem solving are consolidated in this stage and they acquire the desirable values and dispositions for democratic economic cultural participation. Right from sixth grade onwards, we should concentrate upon increasing these, like capacities. Just a second, teachers. Yeah, as we are done with middle stage, now let us move on to secondary stage. Let us start with the considerations of NEP 2020 in secondary stage. No hard separation. NEP 2020 gives clear mandate to move away from the current practice of streaming into science, arts or humanities and commerce. Instead, students can choose subjects across curricular areas. This is in case of 11th and 12th. Thus, the secondary stage design should enable both breadth through engagement with a variety of subjects across streams, including art education, physical education and well-being, and vocational education, as well as depth in areas chosen by the students. Like there shouldn't be any hard separation of science and commerce or mathematics. Children have the chance of choosing subjects, interdisciplinary subjects in 11th and 12th. Breadth and depth. Students should have breadth and depth across multiple disciplines and depth in chosen subjects. Okay, which means students can gain knowledge from subjects across different disciplines. Apart from that, they should gain depth in the chosen subject. Whatever subject they have chosen, more, like understanding should be developed in that particular subject. Choice and flexibility. Students should have flexibility and choice across subjects and curricular areas. Choice-based, subjects. They can choose subjects of their own, their interest. Reduced content load. Curriculum content will be reduced in each subject to its core essentials to make space for critical thinking and more holistic, inquiry-based, discovery-based, discussion-based, and analysis-based learning. So these are the pedagogies which we need to use. Okay, it is not that we are going to give only lectures. Apart from that, it should be holistic learning. Okay, and why are they reducing the curriculum? To improve critical thinking and more holistic learning. Reduced exam pressures. Board exams will also be made easier in the sense that they will test primarily core capacities and competencies rather than months of coaching and memorization. Okay, a circular will be coming already. We have had a circular. How is that they are going to make board exams easy? There should be more information on that we will see at that point of time. Now let us go into the curricular structure. To enable the vision of NEP 2020, the secondary stage will be designed in two phases. Grade 9 and 10 is the first phase, 11 and 12 are the second phase. In 9 and 10, students engage with a breadth of curriculum across curricular areas. There will be many subjects. In 11th and 12th, more specializations and choices are available to students while still maintaining significant breadth. In 11th and 12th also, there is breadth, which means children can have many subjects, but still specialization is there. In the specialization also, there is a choice. It is not that they have to stick on to only science. They can choose commerce subject as well if needed. Grade 9 and 10 will ensure breadth building on the learning achieved in middle stage with clear continuity between the two stages. Whatever subject they are learning in 9, 10, 10, it is going to be the continuity of the subjects of 6th, 7th, and 8th classes. Here, there are three languages, at least two of which are native to India. Two languages should be of native languages. And study seven subjects: mathematics and computational thinking, social science, science, art education, physical education and well-being, vocational education, and interdisciplinary areas. Each of these subjects will be a well integrated and coherent study of multiple disciplines. Okay, for example, in science, you will have biology, chemistry, physics, and earth science. Again, the emphasis would be on learning core concepts or competencies rather than the memorization of facts. It is not about memorization of facts. It is all about, learning concepts and core competencies. Learning standards for these subjects are articulated in the corresponding curricular areas for this phase in this NCF, and it is expected that all students attain these learning standards. When we move further, there are certain learning standards that are to be achieved by the students. In the upcoming chapters, those are there, subject specific. Every subject they have mentioned learning standards, which we are going to, see in chapters 2 and 9, okay, of part C. All secondary schools will need to offer three languages as well as all the seven subjects so that all students are able to complete grade 10. Okay, it is mandatory that right from ninth grade itself, we give three languages and seven subjects in all secondary schools, that is schools which are having 9 to 12. Out of these, art, physical education, and well-being, and vocational education would be examined locally, which means the examination or assessment is within the school itself. So in this figure, they have given type of examination for which subject it is that we are going to have external examination, and for which subject is that we are going to have internal assessment. So for art education and vocational education as well as physical education, it is going to be local assessment, which is nothing but in-house school assessment with the help of an external examiner. Grade 11 and 12 will enable depth of study based on choice that students make. Okay, students are going to choose any subject which they want, but whichever subject they are choosing, there will be a depth of knowledge, lots of knowledge they gain about that particular subject. To ensure that students have a depth of learning across a range of human knowledge, students will have to choose two languages from group one. Okay, in 11th and 12th, they have to choose two languages, at least one of which is native to India. Okay, in 9th and 10th, two should be of native Indian language. Here, one should be a native Indian language. Choose four subjects with an optional fifth subject from at least two of the following groups. They have given three groups here. From any of the two groups, they can choose the subjects. Apart from that, there is a fifth subject also. Art education, they can choose. Physical education and well-being, they can choose. Vocational education also, they can choose. Social science and humanities, interdisciplinary areas also, they can choose. Science, they can. Mathematics and computational thinking also, they can. Two. Okay, four subjects. Okay, two from group two, two from group three, or group four. Okay, and these groups have been created to address the requirement of breadth of study in NEP 2020, which is why there is a requirement to choose subjects from at least two groups. Okay, there is a requirement. I mean, NEP 2020 has got its vision, isn't it? Like, learning is lifelong and learning shouldn't be specific. Learning can be not just specific, it can be of child's interest. If they want to explore more, they should be allowed to. That's the reason they have made this. In the longer term, as schools develop the requisite capacity, it will be desirable for students to have to take subjects from all three groups above to develop well-rounded thinking. Now that we don't have teachers well equipped, okay, to provide students with like subject specific teachers from all the three groups, in future students will be made to take choose subjects from all the three groups. Maybe we will have six subjects at that point of time. For more details on groups, curricular areas and subjects, see figure 2.3. We will be seeing into that. The following are some of the key considerations for designing the subject courses in grade 11 and 12. Let us explore them. In case of subjects based on academic discipline, the intent would be to give adequate exposure to the key conceptual structures and theories of the discipline and develop capacities of inquiry in that discipline. In 11 and 12 also, giving key concepts and core understanding about the subject the child has chosen. Apart from that, motivating inquiry based learning in that particular subject. The students would develop an understanding of how this discipline behind the subject fits within the curricular area and the open questions that the discipline is currently engaging with. This would enable students to make informed decisions about the pursuit of this discipline in higher education or to study it on their own. Okay, so 11th and 12th are basically acting as a bridge between higher education and the child. So when they start exploring these subjects with the help of inquiry, it gives an understanding to the child whether it can be taken as a subject for his professional growth. In case of interdisciplinary areas, a very wide range of subjects can be offered. Art education can offer specific forms of art as subjects, while physical education and well-being can offer specializations based on practices such as yoga. Okay, physical education subjects, we can have a specialization as well. Art education, we can come up with specific arts like like drawing or painting or any type of art. In the case of vocational areas, the subject should equip students to enter the world of work in a particular vocation. Okay, the vocational subject which the child is going to choose in vocational education, it should help the child to enter into the work field of work. Contemporary subjects such as artificial intelligence, design thinking, holistic health, organic living, and global citizenship education, as recommended by NEP 2020, can be offered as courses in appropriate groups. So these subjects can be offered if the schools have teachers to teach them. An illustrative list of subjects is given in 2.32, which we are going to see afterwards. Next, this NCF states the broad aims for the curricular areas and does not specify the learning standards for grade 11 and 12. Till grade 10, there are specific learning standards. Okay. Here it is not specific. In 11th and 12th, it is not specific. These have to be articulated specifically in terms of competencies and learning outcomes for each subject by syllabus developers. Okay. It should be completely based upon the competencies and learning outcomes, what competencies the child has to develop in 11th and 12th. However, this NCF has specified illustrations of a few disciplines. We will be seeing in part C, chapter 10, a few disciplines or few subjects which they have given. We are going to explore it there. Since students would have a wide choice, syllabus or course designers of subject should not assume that students would choose a complementing subject. Okay, while people are designing, okay, the books, they should remember that students have the choice to select the subject. It is not that they are going to select only one particular subject. For example, the biology courses in grade 11 and 12 cannot be designed on the assumptions that students are enrolled in chemistry in their 11th and 12th. Okay, other than now, there are connections no for biology and chemistry. So while they're designing the textbook, it is not that the child is going to take chemistry as well. Maybe child will take something from humanities. So here they have given different subjects of group 1, of group 2, as well as group 3 and group 4. The child can choose anything. Subjects can be offered at different levels. For example, there can be a basic mathematics subject as well as advanced mathematics also. So in 10th grade, it is only one advanced or basic, but here it is both. The child can. Students will be given the choice of opting for different levels. The complete choice is given to the child, what level he wants to choose and what subject he wants to choose. Students are expected to make their choices on the basis of their passion and interest and their future plans either in the world of work or in higher education after their school completion. No compulsion. Okay, it's all about the student's passion. See figure 2.34 for some illustrative combinations that students may choose. We will look into it. Implications for schools and boards of examination. Let us see what are schools implications given to schools. Yeah. For phase 1, which is grade 9 and 10, school should offer all the 10 subjects required for 10th grade certification. We have seen it just before. For phase 2, which is 11th and 12th grade, school should offer a minimum of 2 languages. 2 languages is compulsory. School should at a minimum offer subjects from at least 2 groups amongst group 2, group 3 and group 4. Okay. In 5 years, school should offer subjects from all 4 groups. Okay. After within 5 years, school should do the arrangement as to offer subjects from all the 3 groups. For that, we have to get the faculty as well. Within 10 years, many more subjects should be offered within groups to give more choice and flexibility to students, and all curricular areas should be covered. So from now onwards, school should start working towards this. Now, boards of examination. Boards of examination should offer all subjects for grade 10. For grade 12, boards should not restrict students to choose a subject within streams such as science or commerce, and instead allow flexibility to choose from different groups. So CBSE board or any board, they should allow the child to choose subjects from different groups. Maybe one subject from two subjects from science and two subjects from commerce also should do. A wide range of examinations for different subjects within groups should be designed to increase choice and flexibility for students and schools. Wide range of examinations are also to be planned. Subject examinations at different levels, basic and advanced, should be offered. It is not that only an exam about the subject. We are going to have advanced and basic, exams for different subjects. Processes for paneling external examiners for art education, physical education and well-being, and vocational education should be defined. Okay, school should set up a process wherein they can call examiners for these particular, areas from outside as well if needed. Board examination should be made easier in the sense that they test primarily core capacities or competencies rather than months of coaching and memorization. It is not that we are going to test chapter wise each and everything, but what are the competencies that the child need to develop? Board exam should assess only those competencies, whether the child has achieved the required competencies as stated by NCF or NEP. Implementation in phases. So how are we going to implement this? The so-called stage-wise, schooling. The NCF 2023 aims to respond meaningfully to the recommendations of NEP 2020 in giving more flexibility and choice to students and not creating hard separations between disciplines. Along with these responses, the curricular areas of art education, physical education and well-being, vocational education, and interdisciplinary areas have received additional attention. In order to fully realize the vision of NEP 2020 in a practical manner, NCF 2023 recommends a phased approach towards implementing the curriculum. Let us see how are we supposed to implement. If the meeting ends, kindly join with the same link. The meeting is going to end in 1 minute. So in 12th board, okay, so these are the subjects, compulsory subjects are languages. And there are, subject 3, subject 4, subject 5, subject 6, and optional subjects are to be chosen from these three groups, okay, which are given here. Okay, group 2 is locally assessed with external examiner. Group 3 and 4 are external examinations like public examinations.